It's Thursday night, and that means another night of NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer Coin right here on the Automotive Sports Network. This time we come to you from the state known for the roller coaster capital of the world. Of course, we aren't playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. We're racing cars on a track with just as many twists and turns as the Millennium Force. We're here at Mid-Ohio for tonight's RD3SIGNS Grand Prix. The Pro Drivers Championship has tightened up, but while that is going on, the AM standings could be clinched tonight just on its own by Christian Challoner. We have ways to go before we get to all of that. I am Chad Irvine, and alongside me, as always, is Mike Barry. Our producer is the delectable Victor Vallee. Mike, why don't you talk us through this twisting, turning, winding, undulating Mid-Ohio sports car course?
Yeah, let's talk about Mid-Ohio. One of the most elevation-heavy tracks, I think, on the schedule. Maybe the only ones I can think of that are maybe a bit more elevated in terms of elevation are like, Interlagos and Road America. But other than this, it's a really interesting course. We have so many really interesting corners through Thunder Valley. We had the great hairpin. Turn 1 is always a spectacle. I think we're in for a good set of racing tonight, Chad.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun to watch as drivers start to wrap up qualifying. We've got some surprises up here, but we're kind of going through some of the shots, and we get some great onboards. A little off-track excursion there. Oh, that's going to hurt your lap time just a little bit, I feel like. This is dropping back to one of the Renovo cars. This is Ivan Pandev working through his... This has to be his second lap. Okay, he did finally end up faster than a couple of other cars, because for a second there, Kevin Fanning, and here's McDonald coming through across the start-finish line to wrap up his qualifying session, and he's going to finish down there 9th on the grid, it looks like. There you see the time and scoring on your screen, and yeah, Krauss up front, not a huge surprise. We've seen him jump in the last couple of weeks and just dominate the series. But yeah, Ragster, Jani, Pandev, all Renovo Racing, and then further down is Dan and McDonald. Pandev, the interesting thing there, he was slower than Kevin Fanning for the introduction part of this qualifying session. Fanning had some decent pace to start, but those Fords, if you're not Philip Krauss there with the super high I rating, you're not able to do much with it. It's been interesting to watch, though, and this track is gonna, pour into some interesting developments. Let's see if we can't take a look at our points championships. We come to three. We come to 3 races to go left here in the season. Michael Janney is out front, but only by 3 points. Michael Janney for Renovo Racing, 3 points ahead of Josh Clogg, and then Ray Kingsbury, he's short last week as well. He is 25 points behind, and 1 point behind him is Renovo Saving Ragster as well. So those are the top 4 there for the Pro. And in the AM, it's Challoner. He could clinch it just by starting today's race, I believe. It looks like he is going to start from the back of the grid. He decided not to put in a qualifying time. So Challoner choosing to go that route, making things a little bit harder on himself. And that's going to be fun to watch. Peter Houston, he did set a time in practice, but no qualifying there for him. He is currently sitting 3rd in points. And then over and the Spark Virtual Racing Team Championship, it's Spark Last Lap Motorsports. They're out front by 62 points over Renovo Reloaded. They're followed by Renovo Chrome. And over in the AM, it's Richmond Raceway. They haven't shown up the last couple of weeks, and they could be overtaken this week by Masterclass Performance Racing. So that's going to be fun to watch there in the iDrive Sim Training Team Championship over in the AM side as well. So it looks like qualifying is just about over for everybody at this point. You see the clock ticking down there, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So we'll take a look real quick through your qualifying and starting grid here for the RD3SIGNS Grand Prix from Mid-Ohio. Philip Krauss leads your Pro category. It is him, followed by Savian Ragster, then Michael Jan Yvonne Pandev, then followed by Ray Kingsbury in 5th, and Josh Clogg, and Kevin Fanning and Marwan Mafta. Dan McDonald, the final Renovo Racing driver, in 9th. Then it is Steve Lane, 10th. 11th is Tim Brokaw, and Cody Irvin wraps up the Pro field.
And looking into the AM category, we have on the pole Russell Clayson with a 121.314. Right behind him, Steve Brown, his teammate. Clark Archer third. I believe he's also in a Mercedes. I could be wrong though.
You're correct.
I'm correct. All right. Taylor Carroll fourth. Brandon Lambert fifth. John Dipple sixth. Kieran Forrest seventh. Sean Stratton eighth. Christian Challoner ninth, which is his lowest starting spot of the season, and Peter Houston in 10th.
Yeah, some of these faster drivers assigned to start from the back of the grid. Of course, Krauss, doing his thing, and he's gonna, sit on a pole once again. He's been dominating ever since he came into the series a couple of races ago. And the one thing to watch for there, of course, he has already worked his way. Let me double check before Yeah, he's already up to 8th in the points. Of course, he is 119 points back of your championship leader. But he's already up to 8th, and he's only run, I believe, 3 races on the season. And that's just incredible to see. He finished first at Road Atlanta, first at... where were we? Barber. And then he struggled a little bit last week, but still was able to get a decent finish there, taking 35 points last week at Circuit of the Americas. But it looks like the grid is away and rolling. And it's going to be a fun show to watch. Now you see that teal out in front, and that is Philip Krauss leading the field. That's the number 52 car, ASNT V car.
Pace car's already in.
Oh, wow. This is the short formation lap here. As Krauss off to an early jump, none of us were expecting that. As he go deep onto the brakes and into the left-hander for the first time is Philip Krauss, hitting away cleanly. So it's going to be Krauss, followed by Janney, and then Ragster as they go into turn number 2.
And here comes GT3 cars coming into turn 1. It's going to be Russell Clayson out front, Steve Brown in second. Russell Clayson spins!
That's Clayson from the pole going around, and I was about to say Challoner starting from the back is going to be interesting. Your pole sitter spinning himself early is fun to watch as well.
And we're looking at Christian Challoner right now, trying to see if he can get around the Lamborghini. I believe that's Kieran Forrest. Now that they come down that long back stretch, going into Thunder Valley now.
A slight kink into it, but he's going to try to take the outside as they go next into this right-left chicane. He's not going to be there, but he's going to be late on the brakes. There he is. He is clear, actually. And you look out of the nose of Kieran Forrest, and Christian Challoner has his sights set on the cars ahead of him now.
And so looking forward, there's our leader, Clark Archer. Got around Steve Brown. Obviously had a good start, but he's spinning now.
Wow, this is
first in full effect today. Oh, and he gets hit.
Barely some contact there. You saw the damage show up on the left rear of Archer, and that's gonna give the lead here back to, is it Taylor Carroll out front now? Taylor Carroll in the 10 takes the lead, and it's gonna be John Dipple. Then Brown ends up, he goes from second all the way back down to third, but you say third, and for him, that's basically fifth. 3 guys in front of him seem to have spun, so he's going to have some guys with pace behind him. All of these guys are to defend. Christian Challoner started at the back of the pack. He's already up to 5th in class.
Yeah, good run by Christian Challoner right now. We're looking forward at the GT Pro field. Philip Krauss ahead, but it's not too far back to Ragster, Janney, and Pandev. Those Ferraris in hot pursuit. Kingsbury right behind Durand at the top 5.
Yeah, the points battle is going to be fun to watch here in the pro class as the day goes on. Michael Janney, your points leader, he is only up by, if I remember right, I said it was 3 points, coming in. And that just shows if he had ended up doing it just a little bit better last week, just 1 spot further in the sprint, he could have had the tie for the lead. But no, it's Janney, then Clog in the points by 3. And then Ray Kingsbury, just about 20 or so points back as well. And that's going to be fun to watch. There is a look. That is at your number 1, Ray Kingsbury. He runs wide. A lot of people running wide there, taking out the cones. That is switching between cars here in the GT field. That's Dan McDonald, who Struggled last week with a knee injury, but he now works his way down the hill. And there's Josh Klog as well. And some of these, he's second in points, but he is trying to work his way up through the field. He's currently 8th here in the sprint so far tonight.
Yeah, really good run by Dan McDonald right now. Really just showing. I mean, those Renova guys have been top, and he's kind of been the run to the litter, but he's not showing it. As right now you see a battle between Steve Brown and Christian Challoner. Challoner looking to the inside, looking for the crossover now.
Trying to get that crossover move done, cannot do it, but Challoner right in that slipstream. He's going to peek his nose to the inside. He is there alongside.
Close.
And he's going to have the inside into the next corner. Yep, he has the inside there. He is clear, and slipping just in line is going to be Steve Brown. Challoner with a couple more positions to go if he wants to get another streak going here in GTM.
Challoner really, he's been talking a lot about inverts. I mean, obviously the invert, his invert isn't really slowing him down much. He's already up to third. 2 Ferraris and 2 Lamborghinis in front of him. Get my Italians mixed up. As now we look forward at the GT Pro field, still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as before. Krauss, Rex, Jenny, Panda, and Kingsbury to head into that awesome hairpin. Talk about that hairpin for a second. It's kind of used as a bit of an oval, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun to watch cars go through that section, especially because you have such a long entrance into it. You can build up a lot of speed, and if you get a good draft going through that section, especially on entry, you can slingshot to the inside and get a move done as they go through this right-left chicane, and now going back to the right comes Philip Krauss.
Yeah, Philip Krauss obviously just came in 3 races ago, just really proving his worth. I mean, we've known he's a talented driver, and he's definitely shown by kind of laying a bit of a butt kicking on the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's also the winner of this week's race in the Coca-Cola Series, Coca-Cola iRacing, Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series is the name of it. The one of the top leagues for the IR18s here in iRacing. So great job by Philip Krauss this week over at Poconos. He leads the field here at Mid-Ohio. He's leading. This is looking out the back of Sabian Ragster and his teammate Michael Janney. So 2, 3, 4 are all Ferraris of Renovo Racing. It's Ragster, Janney, Pandev there. McDonald, the 4th Renovo car, is 2 spots back, and those guys are making a ton of fun. And we're going to switch back now to the GTMs of Christian Challoner now, all over the back of John Dibble. Into the grass just a little bit. Challoner goes by, and he's going to drop another spot to Brown.
Maybe a little bit of disrespect there from Christian Challoner. I don't know, though. I mean, doesn't seem like a Christian thing to do. Maybe it was just an honest mistake. As now we're seeing John Dipple getting a little bit of a challenge here from Steve Brown. Brown going to work around the outside.
I thought with all the lost momentum that Dipple's going to drop back to 4th. Did a great job holding on to 3rd, but he is definitely feeling the pressure from Steve Brown as they're looking on board off this great roof cam that our producer Victor Vallee has set up. And I mean, you see him late on the brakes. There almost some contact as well. That LRL racing machine of John Dipple looking out the back of it now. Unfortunately, not holding much in it as Brown right on the back bumper. Kid's going to get the run here as they just switch back and forth. They see left, right, working their way through that section. Almost
he's in the grass.
He's in the grass. Can he hold it? Oh, what a fantastic save there from Brown. Oh, Steve, what a great save there in the 182.
Yeah, Steve, the first of the Mercedes not to spin out when making a mistake. That's impressive. I guess that's something you're going to have to rub into his teammates.
Halfway through this sprint race, Steve Brown doing his best now to catch back up to Dipple. Challoner working his way up the field. He started from the back. He's already up to 2nd. You see him there in the iRacing BMW machine. Long sweeping right-hander here now looking out the back of Taylor Carroll. And he's going to put up quite the fight. We saw Challoner last week at Circuit of the Americas struggle just a little bit. Of course, he had an unfortunate incident, now looking to the inside. He's going to be there for sure, and Carroll just lets him blow on by. It's a sprint race. It's a long race, but last week at Circuit of the Americas, Challoner did struggle just a little bit. Of course, unfortunate contact between him and Steve Brown, I believe it was, in the sprint race. And then in the feature, of course, he struggled to hold off both Brown and I believe it was it Carroll? Or was it no, it was Houston last week as well. So the three of those guys were battling out all the way to the very end. So Christian just sending it all the way up the field, and what a great job he has done working his way from the back of the grid. 21st, already up 7 spots to 14th overall. That is top of the table if you're talking about the GT3s.
Yeah, looking forward to GT Pro. I'm seeing Ray King or Josh Clogg has lost some position to Dan McDonald. I don't know what happened there. Maybe he just a little bit slow on speed. I don't see any damage on the car. We're en route. Was that a shadow or did someone go off? I think it was just a shadow though. So but yeah, Dan McDonald en route to like making a Renovo 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously Philip Krauss gonna ruin the perfect sweep, but they're pretty close to it right now.
Yeah, I got a little bit of work to do. Ray Kingsbury was last time by the line 4 seconds ahead of Dan McDonald, but it is still, as you mentioned, Krauss up front, then Ragser, Jani Pandev, and Ray Kingsbury. 5-ish laps. Yep, 5 laps to go now as they come across the stripe. And Ray Kingsbury, look at Clogg. Clogg does not seem terribly comfortable with today's track. I'm not sure if it was something with the way that he has practiced or maybe the lack thereof or maybe something in the setup, but he's just trying his best to hold on here for points. And yeah, he is a lap off of what the leaders are doing. Last lap for Philip Krauss is 118.5. Last lap for Josh Clogg, 119.4.
And that may not seem like that much, but you gotta remember, Josh Cloggs is within 3 points of the championship with him and Mike Janney. I mean, every position matters now. I mean, Janney's going to be gaining, I believe, 5 points on it now because he's not going to score anything. So if I'm Michael Janney now, I'm looking ahead and I'm saying we need to move up. We need to make some changes when we get into the warm up for the feature, and then we need to hope that we can get away with a good finish.
Yeah, look at your top 4 there. That is Krauss, Ragser, Jani, Pandev. All 4 of them so close together. If you're Philip Krauss, you need to hold on because those 3 points that you're going to get over Savy and Ragser, that's going to help your teammate there of Josh Clogg in the Drivers' Championship. You go from 8 points for getting the sprint series or sprint race win down to 5 for second. So Ragser currently in 4th in the points coming into today, well behind Kingsbury, Clogg, and Janney, but any points that you can salvage for your teammates is going to help in the long run, as we're now 4 laps to go, working our way down here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, and Ragser right in the bumper. I think we're going to start seeing the advantage of the Ferraris with just how much straight line speed they have going in. Look at how much closer he is now compared to the beginning of the hairpin. Will Krauss is really going to have his work cut out for him if he wants to defend with these next 4 laps. I mean, just even in the corners, I think the Ford is just the overall slower car.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things we're going to have to keep our eye on, especially as the race develops and as positions change, because it's down the back half of this, the last 6 or so corners, there's only a couple of passing opportunities. You've got turns 1, 2, and 3 that are very flat and not a great dive bomb opportunity or maybe able to get the run. And then you got the left, right section of 6, 7, and 8, and it does not make it easy either. As we take a look now out the back of Philip Krauss, you see that train of cars behind him. He's just doing his best at this point to hold on. Those front 4 have checked out by 5 seconds to 5th place of Ray.
Oh, Ragser's going wide. I think he's going to try and get the run off of here, really diamond the corner in. He's going to get a really good run coming down the straightaway. The speed of the Ferrari about to show. Phil Krauss looking for the block, though. Coming through the kink.
Yeah, he's driving it down to the inside. That's Ragser. He thought better of it, but Philip Krauss still stays in front as they come down. The next corner is going to be a right-hander. Can Krauss hold the inside? He can. And wow, just what a battle that we are seeing here out front. You can definitely kind of tell that there is a difference in performance of these cars depending on where Ragser can gain on Krauss. Otherwise, the 2 cars behind Ragser, Janney and Pandev, they are just kind of holding their own, biding their time, and hoping that something happens to the guys in front, and they're going to take advantage of every little bit that they can.
Krauss maybe a little bit slower there through those last 2 corners. I think Dragster knows where he's faster now, and he's going to just start, like, biding his time, just setting up the moves. If he thinks he's faster through 1, he's going to set it up for 2 and 3. If he thinks he's faster through 4 and 5, and he's going to, set it up in 2 and 3. It's just a matter of where you want to set up your passes, because, it may seem like a pass is a one-time move, but no, you got to set it up for laps and laps and make sure you have everything perfect, or else you're either going to set yourself off or you're not going to get it done.
And this is going off of this on the hood of, or off the roof of Savian Rags, just trying to get a great run, but cannot do so off of Philip Krauss. And he tries to get the better run every single time going into this long back straightaway. Unfortunately, he cannot do much, and he kind of just cuts the corner off, tries to get his way around, and unfortunately cannot do it. But Philip Krauss still leading this back, and one thing that you'll see as we kind of swap between views of this train of cars, you'll see a couple of different paint jobs here. You see a bunch of zebra stripes, but that one car in the middle, that's Michael Janney. He's racing for a different team. They are affiliated, of course, of Renovo Racing Chrome. The other 2 are Renovo Racing Reloaded. Reloaded came in 2nd in the points versus Chrome, who was 3rd. So Renovo overall showing up huge. They are, of course, our sponsors of next week's race at Long Beach, and we have to appreciate all the sponsorship that we see here in NASA GT Americas. And you can definitely tell that is paying off for them as they try to work their way up through the field here. 2, 3, 4 currently.
Oh, that's real wide there.
Very wide, yes, for Savian Ragster. This is actually the final lap. I didn't even realize this race is just flying by. They took the checkered flag, and wow. I mean, time flies when you're having fun, they say it. Wow. So white flag, checkered flag, it's all the same because we're all out here having a great time. It's Krauss, Ragster, Janney.
Oh, we got lap cars up front.
Position as you see them catching up to the back end. I believe it's Stratton wrapping up, or sorry, Russell Clayson wrapping up the back of the GT3 field.
Ooh, I don't know if they're gonna catch. They might catch him before. No, they're not. I think. Oh, look at Michael Janney off. That's the points leader. He's gonna lose his spot.
What a battle, losing a position there, and that's just going to be a single point if it comes down to it. But crossing the final couple of corners, here comes Philip Krauss.
Oh, Ragster trying. He's going to try his thing, but he's not going to be able to get it done. Good job, Philip Krauss.
It's not the longest run out of the final corner. You have to make your move very early if you're Philip Krauss. And here's a look at Christian Challoner. He started from the back in just a 15-minute sprint race, and now he has to try to hold off for Taylor Carroll and Steve Brown behind. And look at this battle. I mean, 2, 3, and 4 there.
5 not too far back.
Yeah, this is looking out the back, of course, of Taylor Carroll in that TLR Designs machine. And he's got a couple of corners to go to make it work.
I wouldn't count Brown out. He's going to try his best here. They have a couple more corners to go. Let's see what he can do.
And they're battling very hard over there in the GT.
Oh, in the grass a little bit.
And you can kind of cut that corner just a little bit. The issue is going to be if you get a slow down or not. And
Christian Challoner wins.
Christian Challoner, of course, takes another victory. No slight to him, but what a battle that we saw there through the rest of the entire field in GT3s. And we're going to go ahead and give you a quick rundown here of the field, and we're going to step aside for just a moment, but real quick, Philip Krauss in the 999s takes the victory in GT Pro. Then it was Savian Ragster and Von Pandev. Then Michael Janney and Ray Kingsbury. Dan McDonald and Josh Klog. Marwan Mafta and Steve Lane finishes 9th, with Tim Brokaw finishing 10th. And the last couple of cars finish a couple of laps down with Cody Irvin and Kevin Fanning. A couple of issues for those two in GT Pro.
And looking at our GTM field, Christian Challoner last to first. I mean, the streak might have been dead from last week, but he still thinks it's alive, finishing first there. Taylor Carroll in the Lamborghini finished second. Steve Brown third. Peter Houston fourth. John Dipple fifth. Clark Archer sixth. Randall Lambert seventh. Kieran Forrest seventh. Russell Clay, eighth. Sorry. Yeah, Russell Clayson 9th and Sean Stratton rounding out the top 10.
What a great show we saw in the sprint race, and we still have 45 more minutes of racing to come. So stick around, we'll be right back here from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the RD3SIGNS Grand Prix. We are back at Mid-Ohio for the R-Designs Grand Prix. Of course, we're 3 races from the end of the NASA GT Americas presented by Simracer Coin. There you see Philip Krauss, your pole sitter here for the 45-minute feature race, followed by 3 Renovo Racing Ferraris of Ragster, Pandev, and Janney. Then Kingsbury, McDonald, Clog, Mofta, Lane, and Brokaw. And then back in GTM, it's of course Challenger, Carroll, Brown, Houston, Dipple, then Archer, Lambert, Forrest, and Clayson. You might notice that we're doing the quick run through of the grid. That's because we're already green. What a start for these guys. Kingsbury is going to be the one setting it up the inside turn number 1. He is side by side with Janney. He's going to be on the outside going into turn number 2. Can he hold it there? He's just in front of the 4th Renovo car of McDonald. This is looking back, though, at the GT3s. And that's Christian Challenger getting a great jump off the final corner. And he's going to be clear in turn number 1, but they're all bunched up and putting himself straight into the wall at the back of the GTM field. Was that Russell? That was Kieran Forrest in the Lamborghini, just sending it. He got the grass too much on the right-hand side and sending him straight into the pit wall.
Man, that's unfortunate for him. Now he looked towards
3 wide. That was Kingsbury getting pinched out there. He was in the middle. He got squeezed off by both his teammate, Josh Clog, and I believe it was Dan McDonald there as well. So losing out on that battle was Ray Kingsbury in that 1-car black and gold machine. But overall, it is still Krauss and Clog working his way up. He started, I believe, 7th. He's going to work up a couple spots here.
Yeah, that pack of prancing horses now closing in on the blue oval with Philip Krauss as they come to end the first lap. There you have Stadium Ragster running 2nd, Ivan Pandev 3rd. No, that might be Michael Janney running 3rd. I don't know. I can't really see it back there. But
nope, it is still Krauss, Ragster, Janney, then McDonald working his way all the way up. What a great run from him so far. Then Pandev, Clog, and Kingsbury. Kingsbury losing out a ton, but Pandev dropping 2 spots on that start as well.
A bit of a shake there from Ragster. I think he's realized that he cannot wait as long to make his move. I wonder if he wants to make his move on Philip Krauss and then just run away. He's clearly the class of the field for the Renovo cars today.
Well, there's a huge difference in these cars on fuel load because, of course, you know, they start very low on fuel for the sprint race and then they pump a bunch of it back in. This is further back. This is Josh Clog trying to get past Pandev. They are side by side going through the S section of the course. You're going to go through a couple of right-handers here and Clog right on the back bumper of Ivan Pandev. But yeah, just low on fuel at the sprint race, and they have to put more in it, and that greatly impacts the handling of these cars. You know, so much heavier. The downforce impacts that much more in these cars. It could be interesting to watch.
It is, and we see 1 car on pit road. That's Cody Irvin right now. Unfortunate for him. We don't really know what happened to him. We're gonna take a look at it now, though.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at the replay here. This is him running on his own. Just gets maybe too late on the brakes. He saves it there. But he's already well off the pace, as you can tell. I'm not sure if something happened before. Yeah, the splitter on the left front might be bent down just a little bit. Oh, and he just goes straight on into the tires there out of the final couple of corners.
That looks like a give up right there. It's okay, though, Cody.
It might have just been, just mechanical retirement on his end, and unfortunate for him, but still Krauss leading the pack. This is further back. You're looking at Josh Clog working all over that back bumper of Ivan Pandev, and he's thought about Pete to the outside. He is there. You can look at almost. I thought he might have gotten the tip of the front splitter on the outside of Pandev, but no, Pandev pulls away just a little bit. But you can see there, that's Clog and Kingsbury on a freight train just behind these two. If they can get inside of Pandev, Clog punches the hole, Kingsbury opens it up. It's going to feel a lot like either a short track race dealing with lap traffic or you know, maybe a multi-class event where you're dealing with slower class cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting what the Spark guys can do. They got 4 Renovos in front of them, and then they got their Spark teammate in a different manufacturer.
This is further back. This is the GTM field. Yeah, this is a great battle here in GTM. This is a battle for 4th. That's Houston, Dipple, and Archer, followed by Clayson. those 4 cars right there, and they are nose to tail working their way through turn 6, 7, and 8. Or sorry, this is through the final couple of corners here as they go through the across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I really like the final 2 corners here. It's almost as you came, but it's a lot faster than so it really allows like set up a good run into turn 1, which even though it doesn't seem like it'd be a great passing zone, it really is.
Yeah, when you're dealing with slower lapped traffic, you can definitely put a move on there. But dealing with somebody in your class or in the same car as you are, you know, I know that we're going to see IndyCar here this season and possibly see the same thing out of, I believe, is NASCAR running here this season? You probably know better than I do, Mike. But either way, you know, just dealing with cars that are on the same pace as you'd probably see some interesting battles. There's a look back at Philip Krauss still holding off Savian and Ragster for now, and the 2 of them have gained quite the advantage over Michael Janney, Dan McDonald, the next 2 prancing horses there for Renovo Racing. But still Krauss, and we do have it confirmed from our producer. NASCAR is running here, and it's going to be interesting to see how those stock cars handle this course compared to what they normally run on the Rovals. Definitely a completely different setup they're going to have to throw with these things. This is looking off the back of the 999 of Philip Krauss at Savian Ragster, and you can see the straight line speed, and he's going to send it up the inside, just washing up just a little bit, not able to get there. And look how close that they get under braking. Philip Krauss able to hold him off for the time being, though. Yeah, Savian still under braking. You know, we talk about the person lockup from Philip Krauss. You saw that tire smoke come out the left side of your screen, holding him off for now. It's still Philip Krauss there in the 999, but how long is he going to be able to hold it? If he keeps making mistakes like that, it's not going to be for much longer. That big blue oval on the hood currently holding up the prancing horse. How long will he be able to do it?
Bomb 66 all over again. Just instead of being in the sunny south of France, we're in Ohio where it gets very cold.
But not in the summertime.
Not in the summertime, yes, but like it's March right now, Chad. Come on, we got to be realistic here.
Speaking of sun, it looks like there might be a cloud coming over the track. You see those the shadows off the cars just slightly going away. A little bit of a
big run here. Big run.
Yeah, it's still Savian and Rags are trying to make the run on Philip Krauss, and
wait on the brakes. He is right here coming through. They call that China Lake right there. Now as they come through the S's.
This time through, no lockup from Philip Krauss. It was the front right last time through, and he's a great learner. He realizes this is exactly the spot where he locked it up last time. You don't see the smoke this time. We'll have to wait just a little bit to see if he can keep that front right from locking up again. But he's a great learner. I've watched him in the IndyCars a number of times, as well as in endurance racing as well. He knows how to protect his tires. We'll have to see how he can do with all this pressure coming out the back from Savian Ragster.
Yeah, Ragster, just very interesting. They're both strong in different parts of the track. As we're looking back now, is that the us 2 Matco Tools car, Steve Lane and Kevin Banning? I mean, just a decent battle we're seeing here between teammates. These guys never seem to get away from each other. And hey, even though they're racing for 9th and 10th, I mean, they're still putting on a good show.
Yeah, especially from a couple of teammates, it's great to watch. You know, as hard as they're gonna battle. For some reason, those Fords do not quite have the pace. It's definitely got to be something in the setup for them over at Matco Tools Motorsports there for Fanning and Lane, because they don't have the pace that Krauss has. But overall, you know, it's definitely going to be fun to watch them battle it out as the race goes on. There you still see Ragster and Krauss up front. Janney is pulled away from McDonald as well. So, you know, there's a gap back to Janney and then a gap back to McDonald. Janney has some clean air here to see what he can do. A little further back, let's take a look real quick in the GT Am field. Christian Challoner, almost a second, not even a second lead over Brown and then Carroll. You'll see him pop into the picture right there. He's about a second and a half behind. So those three, Christian Challoner, any mistake, It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. And Cody Irvin, unfortunately, it looks like the damage to his car from his excursion to the tire barrier, that was terminal. His race is going to be done. I know it's the back of the GTM field, but let's see if we can't take a look at John Dipple and Clark Archer, as well as Russell Clayson. The three of those cars, you see them right there on your screen. They are all over each other's bumpers and spoilers, and they're going to be working their way up, trying to see if they can't at least do something with each other, make this race interesting for the 3 or 4 of them. The car just in front of them as well is going to be Peter Houston. So they're putting on quite the show back there in GTM as well. It's still Krauss and Ragster up front, followed by Janney, but that 4-car battle is the closest group on track at the moment.
Yeah, really good battle we're seeing here. Two Mercedes, they did qualify up front. They were running great up front, but obviously had the incident at the start of the sprint, drops them all the way back, and now they're kind of stuck here battling with Dipple here. I mean, just unfortunate for them, but they're making the best of their opportunities.
Yeah, it's always great to see guys, kind of tough their way out in this series. It might not be the best race weekend for them. They might not have the pace of the front runners, but the dedication that these guys show week in and week out, showing up to the track and doing what they can to A, stay out of trouble, and B, put points on the board for themselves and for their teams. Just as the season plays out, every single point that you can gain is huge.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see.
Yeah, up out front, though, still is going to be in GTM Christian Challenger. Still Philip Krauss as well for the GT Pros. There's still sticking with this battle. There you go. There's right on the back bumpers. Ragster back behind Krauss. There's a look out the back of Krauss. And wow, I mean, going into the first couple of corners, or last couple of corners, it was very close. You can see him peeking into the close-up shot. That's how tight it was.
Be a really good battle right here. Ragster maybe it just found the weak spot in Krauss's impenetrable armor. I mean, he's been so close during the sprint and during his first 10 minutes. I think he has an opportunity here to make this move. He's probably the closest he's been coming through the final 2 corners, coming onto the front stretch.
It's a very short front stretch here, for guys to try to take advantage of that draft, but turn number 2, you're coming out of turn 1, looking towards turn number 2. That is where you can get the most of a move done.
And let's not forget real quick that Xavier Ragster is not the most patient driver. We've seen him be very aggressive during the season, for better and for worse.
You talk about during this season. This goes back to last season. Of course, season 1 of GT Americas was the shortened sprint season where Renova Racing I believe it came down to, if I remember, yes, it came down to a tiebreaker after the final race on a penalty. And that just shows how tight this field can be. So Ragster just doing everything he can. He knows that every point matters. And hopefully we can get confirmation from Victor. Panda was the one at the end of last season that had the tie for the championship. Oh no, it was Ragster at the end of last season. He had the points championship locked up at Daytona, the final race of the season. Unfortunately for him, a penalty to another driver unaffiliated with the championship got a time penalty that took away a position from him and gave it to Kingsbury. And Kingsbury, on I believe it was the 3rd or 4th tiebreaker, ended up getting the championship there. So Ragster has some work to do. He wants some redemption here, and he's got some work to do if he wants to get it.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to, if he's close enough to get redemption on this championship. I think right now it's going to just come down to Clog and Janney. But I think third in the points, especially after the rough start that he's had, to be pretty impressive. Now you see them coming in down to the China Lake. That's that sand trap right off the corner. We can't really see it there because we moved on to Christian Challenger, who's
a ton of pressure from Steve Brown. Those two have some history, and by I say some, I mean it goes back 1 week when Steve Brown made contact with Challenger. Of course, Christian, unfortunately, he mentioned how he made a mistake in the corner where Brown got into him, but just there was some contact there that ended Christian's streak. He finished 3rd in the sprint, but ended up getting the streak back and watch has, coming out of the corners, the run that Challenger kind of ends up pulling away on exit, but Brown gets right back on entry.
Yeah, that's definitely also benefiting from the pure straight line speed that the BMW has. Mercedes has always been a decent car in straight lines, but I think that new BMW, whatever they did to it, I know Christian tested it out, so maybe, maybe he was pulling a couple strings just to make sure he was good in NASA, but that's definitely helped him coming down the straightaways here.
Yeah, we do, of course, have the new format here in NASA GT Americas compared to last season as we ride on board with Steve Brown. Last season, of course, we talked about that tie between Kingsbury and Ragster. Pandev, he finished 4th. Klog finished 3rd as well. So, the points are just as tight as they are this season. I mean, we still have the same contenders from last year to the current one battling up front in the Pro Championship.
Now as they come off the final corner to complete another lap. I'd say it's about time we're going to start seeing some lap traffic come into play here for Philip Krauss and Saving Ragster. Oh, wait, go back. Steve Brown looked loose there. I think he's spun around. He
is! Wow, what a spot from you! Wow, that's just incredible. Steve Brown pushing so hard to catch up to Christian Challenger, and here we go on, but we'll have to take a look at the replay. You see him there in the toe, going into turn number 1. The back end steps out, and you see the front tires turning right. He turned right to go left, but this is not dirt. That just means he's lost the back end.
Yeah, really unfortunate, given he was giving good chase to Christian. He might have actually had a challenge for him there, but now it looks like he's stuck back in. There's that.
He's going to be about
6th there.
Yeah.
He's currently at 4, 5, 6 for the Mercedes. I don't know. They got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Steve Brown, of course, has some work to do. He's going to drop back. Taylor Carroll inherits 2nd, but up front, I mean, all the pressure is on Philip Krauss. Very calm, very cool, very collected under pressure. And we were just talking about lap traffic, and look up front, you can see the GT3 starting to creep into view. They have a little bit of a ways before they get to them as you look out the nose, of course, Philip Krauss. Krauss, as I mentioned earlier, the winner over in the Coca-Cola bottling of Kokomo Elite Indy Elite Series. Very long name. He was the winner there this week, and he knows how to deal with pressure as that race came down to less than a 2nd differential at the line, holding on for the win there.
Oh, it's going to be interesting going into the hairpin here.
He's given the inside by the 34 of Dipple, and he's going to hold it there, get by cleanly the next 2 cars as well, and very respectful racing there from John Dipple as they go through the hairpin.
Yeah, real class there. Now we have 3 Mercedes right in front of them. They're probably gonna catch them at the end of the lap. This might be, if I'm Ragster, I'm looking ahead to those guys. I'm gonna use those guys as a pick. We're gonna get him on the hairpin. He won't be able to do much about it.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing to watch here, especially when you have multiple classes going, is just, if I can catch them here, then when can I get them back? Or do I pass them now and get them later and give up time behind? Just kind of trying to force your opponent's hand into a position that benefits your own, as you see Philip Krauss pulling away by just a little bit. This might be the biggest lead he's had all feature race.
Janny right there, right on the diffuser of Ragster. Now it's a 3-car battle for the lead. Janny, one of our championship leaders too. I mean, if he can win this race, that will really set him up well going into Long Beach next week, I believe.
Yeah, Long Beach next week. If Janny can win, that's going to extend his points lead, especially because your points, he is leading your points actually, but Josh Klog's 2nd in points. He is well far behind all of these guys.
There are those lap cars I was talking about.
And that's, wow, yeah, I mean, that's going to check up Ragster, but then you see everybody else behind him having to check up as well. Ragster, and then it's going to be, Krauss gets through, then Ragster barely getting by. Janny trying to peek down the inside. He's going to get clear, but they're going to lose a little bit of time here.
I think they're going to get it back, though, here. Going through the S's here, this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, there's just nowhere to safely make your move. You're a faster class car here. Philip Krauss is just probably tapping his toe on his broken gas pedal here, saying, "Get out of the way, please, 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 let me by. I need to go. I gotta go." But he just can't do it. There's nowhere for him to go as he sends it up the inside now.
Oh, he's going to get Rexter following him through. So is Jenny, but they're going to have to go around the outside.
Yeah, talking to Philip Krauss earlier today, and they're stuck behind. They're going to lose a ton of time. Philip Krauss, so talking to him this week, the spring behind his gas pedal actually broke earlier today. No time to fix it. No repairs can be done. He's just working with what he's got.
Oh, that's
church.
That's Carroll.
That's Taylor Carroll.
And Cohen's all over the track. That's going to hurt the aero of these guys.
Wow. And you see they're still breaking the air for Philip Krauss, giving him a little bit of room. Is that Clark Archer right behind as well? Or sorry, Peter Houston that is right behind your leader. So it'll be fun to watch there.
See him working that wheel in there. It's just Raxer's now around that lap car. That's Clark Archer right there. You got two in front of him.
Yes.
Philip Krauss. This is going to be real interesting here.
Yeah, that loud traffic really helped out. Thought about sending it, Philip. I don't know how deep you're going to send it to 42 right in front of him of Peter Houston. He really wanted to get by before that corner, lose as little as time as possible. But unfortunately, it could not pay off, and Philip Krauss stays out front, and that gap is just going to grow. Hopefully, I'm sure if you're Philip Krauss, just saying, please, if you're gonna hold me up, just hold them up just a little bit more. As now pulling to the inside, and that's going to be a little separation between Krauss and Ragster. Thankfully, is Peter Houston.
And you see that
going all the way back to Road and Mirror?
And you see Chaney having to make a huge move around Peter Houston for third, just trying to hold on to that spot and not lose too much time down that short front straightaway. Wow! As you see him zigging and zagging all over. It's only about maybe a quarter, maybe a half a mile. I'm not good at measuring distance here in iRacing, but the distance that they made and the move that was made from Michael Jane to hold on to third and not lose any time was incredible.
Real quick, I want to point out, I just remembered this, but actually it was pointed out to me by our producer, Sabian Raxter. He's had a bit of trouble with lap traffic going all the way back to Road America when he got involved in that lap traffic incident coming through the carousel with Blake Reynolds and Ray Kingsford. I think, was that Flynn Lazier?
That was Flynn Lazier was the car that was being lapped as well in there. And there was some discussion to whether or not it might have been steam orders. From talking to Ray, there was no way it would have been because they're in separate classes and they don't want to hold each other up and stuff like that. But yeah, just unfortunate to see how lap traffic comes into play. There have been discussions whether or not NASA will be a single class or multiple next season. That'll be fun to watch for sure. Especially if we go back to single class and back to the inversion that we had in season 1, because every time we ran with that format, it put on a show when the faster cars had some traffic to deal with.
Yeah, it was definitely very interesting from a guy who's gone back and watched a couple of them. As now we're on board with, I believe that's Steve Lane going, and Marlon Mopta right behind him. Marlon Mopta getting a great rundown coming to the hairpin. Look at this.
Yeah, Marwan Mopta in that Corvette. We've talked about them all season. The Corvette versus the Ford versus the Ferrari. Everybody in GT3s, each car has their own advantage. But when you come to Corvette versus Ford, it's very hard to tell where those differences lie. The biggest is between that Corvette that we see all of the Spark guys running versus the Ferrari, where the mid-corner speed is so much different. I think that it's very a neutral car between the two if you're running the Ford.
Yeah, the Fords are definitely the underdog this year. We see some contact there between Steve Lane and Marlon Mopta. Mopta now just getting a little bit impatient. We've seen him be kind of aggressive. Unfortunately, never been really quite up to the pace of the other guys. But he still puts on a good show. He brings home a decent performance. Always keeps the car clean.
Yeah. By the way, back in GT3, Challenger up to a 10-second lead over Taylor Carroll and Peter Houston. So that lead is growing for Christian Challenger. He started from the back. He thought about asking for an EOL end of line penalty for here in the feature as well. I don't think it would have been much of a difference with the show that he's putting on, but the battle for second is definitely heating up between Taylor Carroll and Peter Houston. As we look here, this is between some of the Renovo guys. This is Ragstar and Janney. This is for second as we come to 20 minutes to go. Time ticking off the clock if they want to catch up to Philip Krauss up there in the 999s.
Yeah, Krauss, I mean, he's showing he's not Superman right now. He can be touched. It's just a matter of, like, you know, timing it right. I mean, Ragstar has shown he can be fast in certain parts. You just got to put the entire lap together and be faster than Krauss.
Yeah, that TL10 machine, that Art Designs car of Taylor Carroll, he is barely holding off the car behind him of the 42 of Peter Houston. And there's your class leader, Christian Challoner. But yeah, those two cars right there on track, those two, that red kite machine, that's the battle for second. That's the second step on the podium between Carroll and Houston. They're fighting hard for it. That's the closest battle on track, I believe, at the moment.
Very well might be. I mean, we're getting confirmation from producer here. This is the battle to watch right now. We're going to see Peter Houston maybe send it up the inside here. No, I think he's going to, might be a little bit smarter here. Get that run off the corner and, you know, make the run down into the China Lake.
Yeah, patience. There's still 20 minutes left, or 19 minutes left in this race now, and time flies when you're having fun. And Mike, I believe we're having a ton of fun up here in the booth. I hope they are doing the same on track.
Yeah, it's been a real good battle to watch here. Maybe, I don't know if it's quite one of the best this season, but then again, it's a hard standard to live up when we've had so many classics this season. As they come through, I've been getting it wrong. It's not China Lake, it's China Beach. There's no water there. Now and I think now we're looking still on Peter Houston's car on the bumper cam. Really great camera you see here. You can see just like a lot of the rubber actually on the track that's just been left from the guys wearing the tires. Yeah, all the marbles and stuff. I mean, where sometimes the rubber will make... Well, it's a difference in oval racing and road racing. In oval racing, if you have rubber and marbles on the track, it makes it slower. But when you have rubbered in grooves, you know, in road racing, it does make the cars a lot faster and a lot grippier. So this is going to be really interesting to see as this race goes on.
And this is on the nose, and you see him going into turn one, how short that front straightaway is. That was looking out the front of Peter Houston. Every single time you see cars come through turn number one, you see them kicking up those cones on exit. That does not give them a time penalty, and I think that these cars here are more robust than what I might have driven, say, in the Pro Mazda series, where we hit a cone and it just completely dings up the front wing and your aerodynamics is completely hampered. Houston sending a huge move late. Can he get it done? No! Not in time, and he's got a huge run, but still, I mean, that is still Carroll, Houston, Archer, all right there for the 33 right there is Russell Clayson. That's, I mean, those 4 or 5 cars all battling for the final two steps of the podium per se. What a battle they are putting on, and this is up front Philip Krauss and Savian Ragstar. I mean, Krauss is just, I think he's this one holding on for dear life. Under 17 minutes to go, we turn right here, and he's just kind of trying to hold his line.
Oh, big move there by Ragstar. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to it, though, but maybe that was his strategy, diamond it in. We saw him doing it during the sprint race. Now he's going to get a great run coming down that backstretch into the China Beach.
Yeah, depending on how he gets the momentum off the corner. You saw him run very wide there. That definitely feels like an oval move strategy. Try to get the run to the outside, get a better run, and see if you can't cross him up. But unfortunately, it did not work out there for Ragstar. But still, he is right on. There's the lap traffic. This is further back. This is that battle we were talking about earlier. This is Carroll, Houston, Archer, and Clayson we switch back to. And wow, and you see them having to deal with letting some lap cars by. As I believe that's Fanning that's right there in the middle of this pack. Great battle here, just working their way. Every single car except for that gold Ford is for position, and they're doing a phenomenal job battling with each other, but still keeping things clean. while Christian Chandler pulls away, it's still Taylor Carroll running second here in class and second in line.
And now we look back towards GT Pro. There's Philip Krauss. Ooh, a little bit of a rough entry there. Really hard in the brakes. Kind of trail braking through there. Let's see if Ragster can take advantage of that. I mean, he's now only about 3 or 4 car lengths back. He has the draft. Really good draft. So does Michael Janney, though. So he's got to keep an eye out for that as they come into China Beach. Oh, a little bit of a shake there from Rick Krauss.
Yeah, Krauss knows how to really hold the defensive line. Very expert driver. He knows what he's doing. He knows his racecraft. He knows when people are going to get a run on him. But look how tight these cars get coming through the final couple, through the hairpin on track. Definitely been fun to watch. Yeah, the keyhole as it's called. And wow.
And coming into China Beach now, that Lamborghini, I keep getting those two mixed up. My apologies.
You haven't had that issue all season. Are you feeling okay?
Yes, I have.
Right?
I've been having that issue for ages. It's just we never see the two. I never had to focus on the Lamborghinis because they're never up front. Come on, Carol, get your act.
Yeah, Taylor, get your act together and just pull away and catch Christian Chandler. Let's see it happen.
Just be built different.
A little bit of a blip there. You see him kind of popping in and out from your screen as Taylor Carroll. And if you're Peter Houston behind as a driver, that can be very distracting. You don't know where that car in front of you is going to go and where it's going to reappear. There's a look back up front. Philip Krauss still just trying to break the draft at this point of Savian Ragster. I feel like Krauss on pure pace can pull away. But with the slipstream that Ragster has at the moment, he's not going to be able to do so now looking out the back of Philip Krauss.
It's real tough for Ragster. He just cannot get to the rear end of him because of all the turns and twisties here, especially in the S's. I mean, it's just we know that. Oh, Ray. Hi, Ray. Ray's having a problem. Ray's not having a good day. Let's go take a look back at that picture. How about that?
Yeah, we'll have to take a moment here to figure out what had happened to him because he was running 5th or 6th in class and unfortunately lost 2 spots there. Taking a look at the replay, no, he just has worked his way back up through this after having an incident.
Yeah. We don't know what it is, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, Kingsbury's kind of had a quiet day today. I don't know, for better or worse.
Currently running 3rd in points coming into the day, but unfortunately that's going to be impacted. He does have a little bit of a gap back to, well, actually no, he had a little bit of a gap back to Panda in the points, and now he does have some route back to the next position of Marwan Mafta. And from talking with some of those Spark guys, I know Marwan very well, just from running with him, practicing with him, and kind of teaching me how to drive rallycross. Very smart guy. I think he realized those side by side.
There they go.
I think they go 3.
Whee!
I thought they might go 3 wide there, but it's gonna be Ray Kingsbury setting up the inside. No, he tucks back in line.
And you see the who's that? The Clark Archer. He's flashing his light.
Archer, I think
see the Mercedes are getting impatient.
Archer lifted just enough to not get into the back of Ray Kingsbury. He knew what that was for. He knows his business for position. The room is not there. I feel like knowing Ray at this point, he would have sent it. If it was Matt, he would have sent it about 3 laps ago.
He's going to go along the outside here in the S's.
He's going to have the inside on exit.
He's going to get it.
And he's got the position done.
What a move.
What a power move there from Ray Kingsbury. Coming up on exit. They go through the final couple of, so now they head down to the...
Oh, they're wrecking.
Oh, they're wrecking it behind.
Russell Clayson.
What a battle that those guys were having, and Clayson ends up spinning out. And did he make contact with the wall?
I think he might have, barely tapped it. I don't think there's much damage from it, though. Let's see what happened, though. Oh, he checked up there, lifted. Oh, yeah. Just a little bit of contact there with Steve Brown.
That's with his teammate in the V-Apex Technologies machine. Oh, he definitely clobbered the wall. At first it wasn't looking too bad, but was able to collect it after that, and unfortunate for him is Brown is going to work his way up through the standings.
Now we're looking back. There's Ray Kingsbury finally getting cleared of those lap cars and Steve Lane, or Kevin Fanning. Seems like the Chevys are a little bit slower today, though. Yeah, Mazda just being super aggressive here, almost off the road.
Trying to catch. This is really interesting to watch.
Yeah, Kingsbury 20 seconds now behind his teammate of Josh Klog for 6th place. So that spot is going to be, Kingsbury. He's going to have to grind. There's no way without a mistake he's going to advance any position. At this point, it's just damage control, as he is now 3 seconds clear of Kevin Fanning. Up front, though, still Philip Krauss by 0.3 of a second. Take a look at that battle there, nose to tail, and all over the slipstream. He's going to set up the inside. He's going to have the position there. He's still holding the inside. Next is going to be Krauss on the inside. Next is going to be Krauss on the outside again.
Oh, they're side by side here. They're going to come through. We saw Ray Kingsbury get the advantage here. He's going to take it.
Krauss has got it. Oh, what a save. What a way to hold the position there from Philip Krauss in the 999s. And all that's going to do is open the door for Michael Janney to say, hey, guys, I am still here.
Yeah, Michael Janney, don't count him out. I think he is currently our points leader. I'm actually checking the points right now. Yeah, Michael Janney, our points leader, 3 over Josh Klog. He's extended that just a little bit.
Philip Krauss in the air wash. He drives all the way to the inside. Almost contact there. He's going to hold the inside. And he still holds the position. Just look how close they are riding on the roof of Philip Krauss.
Yeah, looking back, coming into the keyhole. Now they're side by side between the Renovo guys.
We've talked to the Renovo guys before. There are no team orders in that paddock. They know each other. They know how each other wants to race, and they're not going to hold each other up either. They're going to race hard from green to checkered, and it's going to be Krauss now leading Janney.
No, it's still Rexter. Rexter didn't lose a position there. And now you see. What do you mean?
I am mixing up all of my cars on track right now, so it's still Krauss, Rexter, Janney. I thought that I got them swapped up as they went through turn number 2, but no, it's still Krauss, Rexter, and then Janney, your top 3 over there in GT Pros.
Yeah, and you see Rexter now. He's closing in a little bit. We obviously know he has the speed now. He's proven it. He can catch them. What's going to be interesting, though, is I think we might be coming into a second set of lap cars. I mean, they were racing really hard while these guys have just been closing up. This is going to be really interesting to watch here.
They do have quite the battle there. They're going down into the keyhole, the next lap cars. Meanwhile, Philip Krauss on the 999s, he's just working his way out of turn number 1. So about from the kink in the back straightaway to the keyhole is the gap as Philip Krauss works his way out of there right now.
And look at another diamond by Xavier Rexter. He's going to see if he can.
Oh, and going off track, by the way, Taylor Carroll, Pete number 2 in GTM. Taylor Carroll goes off, and he's going to have to work his way back up, fighting real hard as you see him collect things here. He got the back end of that car just into the tire barrier. Have to see if we can't catch a replay of that.
Oh,
and
just in the grass there.
Onto the grass, and you'll see the back end step all the way around. He locks it up, wheels full to the right, full lock.
Oh, not quite.
Oh, he's holding on, bam. You just see him. Fortunately, the rear wing of that car is up above the tire barrier. There's a little bit of damage to it, but overall, it's not going to hamper him too much. But here's a look back out front. This is still Krauss,
right
Rexter, Janney. That's what we've looked at all race long. And man, if you're Philip Krauss, you have to be feeling like a lion out in front of these zebras, just waiting to pounce and just take as many points as you can from the other guys. This is further back. This is Archer and Houston for second place now in GTM. This is Archer and Houston and then Brown third place as well. They're all fighting. These are the last 2 steps on the podium. Of course, Challoner 16 seconds out in front, but these next 3, these are fighting for the next second and third, the silver and the bronze in GTM.
And looking back at GT Pro right now, there's Rexter. He's going to look to the inside and into China Beach. Not quite going to get it.
There is no way that you're going to get that move done there, especially with the way that Philip Krauss is defending it all race long. under 6 minutes to go now. About 5 or so laps, maybe just under that. But working their way now along this beautiful winding track of Mid-Ohio. And wow,
Thunder Valley.
What a show we have seen so far.
This has been such... Danny, I think he's just being very patient here. He's, you know, at the point leader, he knows he's already going to be getting a leg up here on Quag. So let me go check my math right now. He'll be gaining about 7 points over Quag if everything stays the same. So I think he'll be pretty comfortable with that. But I say, you know, if an opportunity presents itself, so I bet you'll see him take it. Oh, don't forget, we also had that sprint race that, as our producer just pointed out, I think he gained about 4 extra points there, so he's going to probably be leaving here with about a 14-point lead over Clog, barring any penalties.
It's going to be interesting to watch for sure how this plays out. There are only 2 races left in the season. Of course, you know, we've got, I'm trying to remember, I think next week we're at the Fornovo Auto GP. Of course, that is sponsored by the team sponsor, Saving Ragster and Michael Janney, of course, of Fornovo Racing. They're at Long Beach next week, and then we've got Championship Night from Charlotte Motor Speedway in 2 weeks as well. Putting on quite the fight here in GT Pro.
Championship Night is going to be kind of interesting, not going to be exactly climactic for the AM driver standings, as if my math is correct, Christian Challenger has officially locked up the 2020-21A Drivers' Championship in GTM. So congratulations, Christian, on that.
Yeah, he had to take 3 points out of the sprint race, and he did that. So Christian Challenger, of course, has locked up the AM Championship. And yeah, we mentioned that race at Charlotte. I have to, you know, give a little self-promotion. It's CubeCast Championship Night. I'm sponsoring that race for my Twitch channel. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have a simulcast between myself and Victor here. And this is going to be lap traffic battle onto the grass. And that's not going to be what you want to see if you're battling for position here with them. That was the 34 of John Dipple.
Look at the outside.
Very aggressive move. Oh, holding on is going to be Philip Krauss. But he's very wide on the outside. Oh, what a battle!
And I think now we're going to see him as they come through the S's. Can Sabian Raxer get around him? We saw him. He almost had it there. He's peaking. All he wants to do right now is make Krauss nervous as they come to Thunder Valley.
If you're Sabian Ragster at this point, you know where you have the pace. You know where you can make your move, and you know when you have to do it. If you're Philip Krauss, you know what he's got behind you. You've seen the run that he's gotten. You just have to figure out when to hold him off, and you have 4 more laps to do it. Make them 3 as we cross the line.
And now as they come into turn 1, Philip Krauss with the advantage. Really tight line through there as he's going to try and use up as much space on exit there. Sabian Ragster going to see what he can do. He's probably going to try and set it up, doing that diamond move that we've seen him doing, even back all the way to the sprint.
Coming out of the keyhole, who's going to get the bigger run here? It's going to be Krauss still not able to make the most of that draft as Ragster. You see him just trying to tuck it, you know,
I don't know,
get right into his tire tracks. There's not going to be enough time to do it there, but I think that's going to be where you have to make the move. You have to get the exit out of the keyhole if you're Ragster. Fight through the aero wash, keep your foot to the floor, and get that move done as we are wrapping up. 3 laps to go, coming to 2 next time by the line.
Yeah, I mean, Ragster's got to be well aware that backstretch is his strongest point. We know the Ferraris are always, like, throughout, since they were introduced on iRacing, they've been the fastest cars in the straight line. All they have to do now is just make sure he gets the corners around it right. And now he's right on the rear end of it as they come through the carousel and turn 14.
Out of the final corner they come, 2 laps to go. And what a show that these guys are putting on still. Christian Challenger up by 20 seconds over Peter Houston. Clark Archula right behind him for second in GTM, as still out front is going to be Philip Krauss and then Sabian Ragster. Let's look out the nose of out the nose of Sabian Ragster, sorry. Out at Philip Krauss there, and
not a great run there by him.
No, you need to get a better exit, and that's where Ragster has struggled as the race has gone on. The tires are not where they used to be. I think that if this was, say, the sprint...
We got two... We have two lap cars up there. That's Taylor Carroll and Russell Clayson.
Oh, and a huge checkup there from Philip Krauss, letting Ragster get right onto the back bumper, but Ragster then had to check up, make sure not to make contact as well. But yeah, you mentioned that lap traffic in front. It's going to be, you're hopeful, say if you're Philip Krauss saying, hey, let me go by and don't hold, or make sure to hold these guys up as much as possible. It all depends on where you catch them, and I don't know if they have the time to do so or not. I'm sorry, they're right on the back of them at this point. That speed differential is insane.
They get the white flag this time by.
Wow. White flag at the line, and it's still Philip Krauss, and this is not what you want to see if you're Philip, because you want to get the move done. Krauss out of the grass!
Side by side!
Oh, he spins him!
Return! Oh! He's second now.
Oh, and Philip Krauss right there! So it's still going to be now Ragster, then Krauss, and that's going to be huge in the points if you're Savian Ragster.
I don't think
right behind him is going to be Michael Chaney. The race is not over, so a long way to go.
Go to the outside, going.
Who's going to hold it there side by side? Oh my goodness, what a race this is going to be. Back to the line. I don't have time to catch my breath.
Oh, Jenny,
there's a couple quarters to go. Oh my goodness.
Saving Ragster right up front. Can Krauss make a move? We've seen him be faster through these corners. Oh my God, as they come through Thunder Valley, that lap car's way ahead. No problems in front. I'm out of breath.
I am too, but it's going to be Savian Ragster through the final couple of corners and back to the line. And what an incredible white flag lap that we just had. But coming through the final corner and back to the stripe, it's Savian Ragster getting the win here in the ARC Designs Grand Prix.
Oh, Krauss in the wall.
Krauss ends his race. He's frustrated with himself. This is going to be the battle for second place, by the way, here in GTM. It is Houston then leading Archer. And you see them, they're almost trying to get the most of the slipstream is going to be Archer. But I don't think there's going to be enough to do it. I think we wasted all of our very late on the break there, though, comes Clark Archer. Can he do anything more? Of course, he races in the U.S. Majors Series.
I don't think he can do much now. I think
no.
It's all but set.
I think it has to be Challenger, of course, has run away with it through the field. What a...
Let's take a look at Christian Challenger as he's about to come through the final corner here. And he's already crossed it. Christian Challenger is your 2021A NASA GT America's GTM champion. And what an incredible run he's had this season.
Yeah, what a run for him. And yeah, Philip Krauss, of course, finished second. He sounded very frustrated over the driver's radio. Unfortunate for him, and just the unfortunate time we talked about it when you're going to catch that lap traffic, and that's just you really have to feel for him having your race. You led every single lap except for the final one led, except, you know,
the one that matters.
The one that matters, and of course it was on behalf of a slower class car that even at that point, you know, when you have to spin somebody else out to do it. But we're going to have a interview here with the winner of the overall race tonight. Of course, Savian Ragster. Save, what a finish you had. What a great race, and that came down to the very end.
That was absolutely unbelievable. I am shaking right now. I've been shaking the entire 45 minutes. All of that was just incredible. I don't even believe it myself.
You guys, I mean, both yourself and your teammate there were right behind Philip Krauss the entire race. Yourself and Janie, how did it feel just kind of running in his draft? Were you trying to set up your move for a couple of laps there, or what was the plan?
To be honest, we were pushing really hard the entire race, just waiting for... Really, there's no place to pass here. There's only really going into turn 2 and turn 3, maybe. So we were just pushing really hard, hoping Phil would make a mistake. And he made a couple, but it was just really challenging to try and get around him. And I don't know what happened really on the coming out of turn 1 on the final lap, if there was contact, but that was just a rush. That was incredible.
Yeah, there was contact between Krauss and, of course, one of the lap cars there. Not the best to see, of course, but it did give you the opportunity to get the win, and this definitely helps Team Renovo in the Pro Team Championship. You guys are a little bit behind Spark LLM, but you guys there at Renovo are both Reloaded and Chrome running 2 and 3. You've got some work to do with 2 races to go. What are your thoughts both on the Team Championship and kind of what you have to do from here?
This has been a really tough season for both the Renovo teams, and we've been really putting a crazy amount of work in with the setups. Just want to thank Yvonne for all the work he puts in every single week developing these setups for all 4 of us here. And we've had a lot of low moments this season with kind of contact with the GT3 cars and just getting unfortunate traffic patterns and things like that. But this is just the first race where we kind of hit the other side of that and got just a little bit lucky with the traffic. So great work. Want to thank everyone.
Only a handful of drivers, of course, are running this season from last. And what's been the biggest difference? And we can talk about whether it's the tracks or the difference between having multiple classes. What's been the biggest difference for you as a driver working your way through this season compared to 2020 as we wrapped up last season?
Yeah, with the GT3 cars, it's been pretty difficult because they're just not all on the same page with what they're going to do. So it's really tough to know what to expect because you can pass 10 GT3 cars in a row who go wide on turn 1 and let you by, but then you might have like the 11th guy who just like breaks on the apex and you're like, okay, and you got to deal with that like really quickly. So that's been really challenging, but it is cool to lap cars and when you see them coming off in the distance, that's really exciting, especially for us.
Yeah, and we go to of course a very tricky, very dangerous track next week. I feel like it's the wild card of the season going to Long Beach next week. What are your thoughts there?
We're really excited. Long Beach is our another one of kind of like Renovo's home California tracks.
Everything in California is your home track, man.
Yeah. Well, we're very lucky to be here, and so Renovo's actually sponsoring that event. So hopefully we can show up really well and make all the guys back in the office proud of us there.
So, real quick, so I've been running the numbers a little bit. I think with this win tonight, this puts you within 10 or so points of Jenny. You think you'll be able to make a championship charge towards the end of the year? Or?
I'm going to keep fighting. I'm here to race, and, I don't care who it is. I'm going to go for the gap. So, Jenny knows that. I know that. We're fierce competitors. We practice a lot together. It's going to be real interesting. So stay tuned in.
Yeah, we saw you not give an inch at the end of last season, and best of luck next week as we wrap things up here. Anybody, of course, you're gonna thank all your sponsors, everybody watching your Zoom calls. We hear that a week out.
Yeah.
Anybody else you want to thank as we wrap things up?
Well, definitely I have to thank the guys at Renovo, my company that Yvonne and I work for. They're wonderful. We're really happy to have them supporting us and have them cheer us on and stuff like that. But I'd like to thank my mom and dad. They gave birth to me. That means a lot to me that I can be here today and sim race with all of you wonderful people.
Well, hey, congratulations on a fantastic finish today as we wrap things up here, and best of luck with the last 2 races here in the season.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Hey, that is Savian Rex, your winner there in the 91 Renovo Racing Machine, and we're going to move on to our next finisher is going to be Peter Houston. Peter, of course, is your second place finisher over in GT3s. Peter, what a race you had tonight.
Yeah, it was incredible. And on my home track, too. It was nice to finally get that P2 around here, which is basically a P1 considering Christian.
Oh, I was gonna say you guys had a great fight there. You guys had quite the train going for a couple of laps between yourself and Archer and Brown. There were a bunch of you guys fighting for position real hard. What was that like on such a tight track like this?
I mean, it's really hard to overtake here, and I think, using less downforce than the cars around me. So I knew that it was going to be one on lost on pressure. I pressured Carroll until he made a mistake, I think, and I managed to not crack myself.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it all season long. Whether it's a battle getting interrupted by a battle getting interrupted by faster traffic, or maybe a mistake further up in the field. How did you kind of manage your night tonight? Just kind of making sure that you hit your marks and dealing with everybody else around you.
Mainly just taking it one corner at a time. I made a lot of last minute setup changes earlier tonight, so I was driving pretty conservative, to be honest. And I started to pick up the pace a little bit in the second half of the feature. The real thing was the GTE cars. Some of them were fast enough to get by me pretty easily. Others, I would end up defending from them by accident. It was really tough.
I would say, I mean, the guy that finished right behind you is the guy right in front of you in points, and you definitely made up some ground there. You're right behind Clark Archer in the points. Do you have any shot last couple of races to make a move on him for second?
We'll see. I'm not sure they're my best tracks. That was probably Road Atlanta, and we all saw how that turned out.
Yeah, I mean, in the next couple of races, we've got both the Charlotte Roval and Long Beach.
Yeah.
Very, very different tracks, one another, versus what we've raced all season as well. Any experience between any of them, and kind of anything you're looking forward to from any of them?
Yeah, definitely. Long Beach, I'm really looking forward to. Had a lot of fun driving Porsche Cup around that track and a couple other cars. I really like it. Obviously, pretty hard to get past, and getting the right setup will be pretty key with some of the bumps. Charlotte, I have never driven before, and it looks awful to me. I'm dreading it.
Well, hey, it's going to be definitely interesting races. We wrap things up here, Peter. Thanks for joining us in the booth. Do you have any sponsors you want to thank, or anything like that?
I just want to give a shout out to Red Kite. Been with them a while now. I've done a few endurance races. My first real team for endurance racing, and they've, for the most part, been calm and reasonable and helped me get into a groove with that stuff.
Well, any sponsors, any teams, anything like that is great to have here, especially, in NASA GT, where you can, work together and kind of figure setups out and everything. And hey, congratulations on the second place finish.
Yeah, thank you. Hope
That's
I can be here again.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you here. We got a couple more opportunities for you to get here next week, of course, at Long Beach, and of course in 2 weeks at Charlotte. But hey, thanks for joining us up here in the booth as we wrap things up here from the Charlotte Roval. Mike, what are your from the Charlotte Roval? We're gonna head there in a couple weeks, of course. Having a brain fart here. I'm thinking way too far in the future. We're here from Mid-Ohio. And what a show we put on for you guys here at the R Designs Grand Prix. I'm still trying to catch my breath, and maybe my brain is still a couple of laps to go from what we saw between Krauss and the rest of the fields at the end of that race. But Mike, what are your thoughts overall as we head the last couple of weeks of the season?
Yeah, this is a really good race all around. Just great battles everywhere. Obviously, we had that basically 45-minute battle up front between Krauss and Ragster. I mean, it was a bit of a wild finish there. I mean, something you dream about. So congrats to everybody. Congrats to Christian for winning the championship. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us tonight. He had some commitments immediately after the race. But you know what? We'll probably have a pre-race. Hopefully we'll have a pre-race or a post. We'll probably see him in victory lane next week. And we'll talk about his championship because he's definitely earned it.
Yeah, of course, Christian Challenger, the winner here tonight in GTM. And of course, he's clinched the Red Kite Virtual Motorsport Drivers Championship in the GTM class there for Team iRacing. And what a show he's put on all season. Overall, we talk about the GTMs finishing up. Man, the GT Pros, they are tightening up for the Drivers' Championship as well. But as we wrap things up here, I have to thank you for joining us here for the R Designs Grand Prix from Mid-Ohio. Make sure you check back here next Thursday night for the Renovo Auto Grand Prix from their home state of California at the Long Beach Street Course. Also, make sure you don't forget to stop by here at these same channels on Wednesday for the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. For Mike Berry and our incredible producer, Victor Vallee, I'm Chad Irvine. Race hard, race safe.